What's up everyone, Scott the TroutHammer here. Now today is a special day for me. Now when I get someone that tells me that they've never caught a fish in their life, for me that opens up my heart, that opens up the floodgates of I want to show you everything that this stuff involves. So I get to do that today. I get to take a buddy out fishing who's never caught a fish before, get to teach him the ropes. He's someone who, if you guys have watched The Biggest Loser, you might recognize. I've always known him as my paisana. He's one of my good friends, Patrick. We go way back, but he's wanting to get into the game, so I'm going to try to show him the ropes today. Gonna need a little bit of this action today because it has been raining non-stop for days. But that's just typical Oregon pattern during the spring is, you know, you think you're going to get a couple of days of nice, good weather. Think again. At most you'll get a few days of sun, but in generally it's really windy, really stormy, which we've got going on today. That doesn't mean the fish don't bite during the spring, especially trout, and that's what we're gonna fish for. Now I know I've been fishing for just about nothing but trout for the last couple of weeks, but I mean, yeah, when you're a fisherman, the weather's your boss. You gotta go where the weather says you can go. So we're gonna hit up some local spots that just recently got stocked, but before you guys go out there with us, if you guys are new to the channel and you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button down there and the notify bell next to it, and click all notifications so you guys will be the first to see all the great content that's gonna come from this channel.
Yep, you saw me. There you go, guys. That's a fish. There you go, guys. That's unreal! Oh, this is such an awesome looking fish. Oh, yeah! All right, guys, check that out.
Did you get a 2-rod endorsement?
I don't know what I got, dude.
Okay, so you probably just got your... Yeah, probably just the same fishing lesson.
2-rod, or what would I need to do?
2-rod's something separate you can buy. You don't have to. It just allows you to be able to use 2 rods at a time. So like for trout fishing, this is where I have 1 rod out there for bait, and I can fish with a lure.
Do I need to update it right now? I'll get on the app and do it right now.
It's up to you. It is $28 just to be able to use a second rod. Yeah. It's really only for people that are gonna use it. Oh, that's okay. That's a good sign. Watch what's gonna come up. Right there, cormorant. They eat trout. So if they're over here, that means there's trout.
I only have 1 rod though if I go out.
It makes it easier to find the fish sometimes.
The best way I can describe it is, so the reason I use 2 rods is I don't want to, like if I'm here to catch trout, I don't want to be here for an entire day trying to figure out what the trout want. I'll use 2 rods where I have one that has bait with 1 color bait, and I'll be using lures of a different color. And about every 20 minutes I'll switch out. And once I find what the fish want, then I'll stick to that. I'll stick to 1 color for both sides, and you'll...
Actually, there will be something they want, dude.
Yeah.
And then once you find it, they'll actually start biting at it.
Oh,
Yeah. Here's one of the biggest clues you can get when you first walk up to the water. How far down to the bottom can you see? If the water is clear, you want to use the more natural colors, so things like greens, oranges, stuff like that. If it's like real murky water, you want to use something that's going to stand out, so like something that's real bright like white or chartreuse, or something that's really dark, because a darker color actually will stand out better in murky water. So for trout, these are the money. Powerbait eggs.
Why you got so many different kinds?
To figure out, because they're different colors.
That's it? It's
Yeah.
It's all the same ingredients?
So, yeah, so this stuff, you know, smell it.
Is it plastic or what?
It's kind of a foam, so it will float. But to get the stuff to float off the bottom, you want to use a Carolina rig. And what you want to do is thread it on the hook in a way that it covers the...
I didn't know I was going to be doing freaking sewing over here, dude.
Oh, yeah.
It covers the knot, but leaves enough of the hook point exposed.
Okay, so why did you do 2 versus 1 or 3 or 4?
2 because of the size of hook. If I was using a smaller hook, I'd only use 1. If I was using a bigger hook, I'd use 3. It's in order to make it float, and it's also good to stick in the water to make sure it does float. So nature gave me a clue. The cormorants are out there. That's where I'm going to throw it.
So how's that weight not just going to the bottom of the water?
The weight is going to the bottom of the water. So the idea is that weight is on the bottom, and that keeps the bait anchored in 1 point, and it floats up above the weight. Oh, already got bit. Oh, here, I'll give you the rod.
Dude, I don't know what the heck I'm doing, bro.
You'll feel the bite. You'll feel it tug. Let it sit, but just reel in until it's you have tension. This is one of the ones where you let the fish come to it.
Okay.
They're roaming around looking for food, and they're looking for things that look exactly like that.
Okay, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. The 2 main schools of thought with trout fishing is it kind of depends on the conditions. So I'm sort of expecting the fish to be a little more lethargic because we've had a couple of weeks of warm weather, so the water temperatures come up. Trout actually like really cold water. They're a river fish. River water is typically colder year-round than pond water. So trout are they're gonna stick to the coldest water, which is gonna be water that's more in the middle, pooled up at the bottom of lakes and ponds during the late spring, summer, early fall. And then in the winter, they're gonna be shallow. They're gonna be like right up against the bank. It's gonna be the coldest water. I'm getting bit on this. Come on, doink doink.
What, actually make that noise?
No, that's just what Christian and I call it. If the water's warm, if the fish are lethargic, they're not gonna move around looking for food. They're not gonna be very active fish. If they're active fish, if they're willing to chase, that's because the water temperature, the conditions are really good for them. They're willing to chase down food. So that's when a lure would be a lot more effective than letting bait sit on the bottom. There we go. Oh. That went nuts for a second. It looked like it was on and hooked. If you're gonna be doing any fishing for trout, bait fishing, lure fishing, good thing to keep in mind, if you're in an area for 15 minutes and you don't get bit, you either need to find water the fish would be a lot more comfortable with. Like I said, if it's trout, that colder water, they're always gonna be looking for colder water. They're biologically engineered to live in a current. So they're gonna want cold water and or moving water. They're gonna look for streams and they're gonna look for creek channels, because even this pond doesn't look like there's moving water, but at the bottom there actually is moving water. There's still a creek channel where the water flows in from the inlet and then makes its way to the outlet. So there is moving water at some point in this pond, and that's where they're gonna be in places like, or in times during like the summer. If you've found the area where the trout should be and nothing's happening, and you've been there for like 15 minutes and haven't gotten bit, just wait. What trout normally do is they school up and they travel around the perimeter of a pond looking for food. So if you haven't gotten bitten like 15 minutes, wait another 15 minutes and see what happens, because the trout, or the school probably just hasn't gotten to you yet. Okay. And I'm also going to use a lure. Since I could tell we do have active fish based on what Christian's doing, what I see the guys on the other side of the pond are doing. Yeah, if it starts going crazy, the tip of the rod just starts going nuts and you can feel there's something pulling on it, just raise the tip up and start reeling. Okay. With trout, you really don't have to like...
We're not bringing a tuna in?
No. You don't have to cross the fish's eyes setting the hook on. They actually have a real soft mouth, so it's real easy to break off on them, which is why we're using small hooks. Whoa, yeah. Right in front of me. No, it hit right in front of me. Yeah. They're actually a lot closer than I think. All right, I'm gonna give my power bait another minute or so on the power bait, and then I'm gonna switch colors. Yep, getting bit.
Yes, you are. A little bit, little nibble. Nope. Throw it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, just as you go, just let go of your finger.
Just wanna let go of the rod too.
That's actually a good spot to have that. So just reel until there's tension. You don't want to move the weight. There you go, right there. Oh, now this one's getting bit. We're getting into Three Stooges fishing zone. It's fishing against the Three Stooges, where they're just coming up and smacking your power bait and then running off. So one thing you can do, if you don't want to just stand with your rod in the rod holder, is reel till you have tension, and then hook the line around your finger. You'll feel the bite, because now you have direct connection to what's happening on the end with that weight. And as soon as you feel the bite, just quickly raise your rod tip up and start reeling. I'm about ready to say, let's go to Timberland. Oh, whoa, whoa, you just got a big bite. Yep. You're still getting bit.
Yep.
So pick up your rod and do what I'm doing. When you feel a bite, just raise your rod tip up and start reeling. Yeah, I'm about ready to say, let's just transition to Timberland. Yeah, let's go to Timberland.
Oh no, you didn't swallow it. Sweet.
I got one. Oh no, came out. I had a feeling that we should just come here. Already 2 fish in the first minute. Oh, there he is. Yep. Yeah, for trout, this is the spot to go to, because the creek flows in right there, and this part here is one of the deeper parts, so anything that flows in from the creek sort of falls into this basin for food. So the trout, they're just schooled up in here eating. So do you want to lure fish or power bait?
Lure fish.
All right. Oh.
Line again.
No, I think that's me. Wait. It's tangled, don't reel. Oh, you made it worse.
Good. Just cut his line loose.
If anything, cut his line.
Not gonna make it.
Scott and I are pretty good at getting knots out of things.
Yeah. One thing you'll learn fishing with me is I am the Doctor Strange of fishing. The impossibilities are endless. Like this. Your line is in my split ring.
Yep.
Get used to the ultralight. That is the one fishing rod I recommend everyone get.
So basically you're saying if I want to feel good about myself, put night crawlers on my hook?
Yeah, you'll catch everything. I've been fishing my entire life. There's pictures of me less than a year old at my grandpa's pond fishing. The revolution for me fishing that happened around 2015 was I learned how to target fish. Not just fish for fish, but how to target fish, how to fish for a specific species. I learned most of that fishing at Waverly because there's everything in Waverly. I go, okay, today I only want to catch bass. So I was fishing in a way to where I'd only catch bass, knowing that it's a lake that also has bluegill, carp, catfish, sunfish, trout, and I was only catching bass. I was like, okay, now I only want to catch carp. And I learned to catch a way that, or I learned to fish a way that only caught carp. And then same thing with trout. You know, learning to fish a way that specifically targets trout, which is what we're doing. The power bait and using these spinners and spoons, they're things that the trout are a lot more willing to go for versus other fish. Now you can catch bass on spinners and spoons. They do make spinners and spoons specifically for bass fishing because they're a reaction lure. At the mouth of the creek?
Yep.
Well, let's transition. Oh. Christian's got another.
Scott and I have fished in some nasty weather.
Yeah, I'm so glad I have a raincoat now.
How can I make this thing go further?
Magic.
Or is that about as far as it's going to go?
That's about as far as it's going to go.
Okay.
Why, Scott? Why is it wet?
Because it's Oregon. I like this. Means I don't have to water the flowers for a couple of days. Christian, your bobber.
No, what'd I tell you?
It's not coming back up.
Where's my rod?
Where's your rod?
Where's my rod? Oh, there it is.
Be funny, the $50 fish.
Right.
Fish that took in $50 worth of gear.
Well, gentlemen, this has been fun.
Yeah.
I wish I would have caught something, but that's okay. I will eventually. See you guys.
I was going to call it, but then I caught a second fish, so now I can't. Hi, duck.
I have your fish. Holy cow.
Oh, that might have been a duck joint.
No, that.
That definitely was not a duck joint. I was going to say, you were casting right into the activity I've been seeing.
Yeah, this is like as soon as it hit the water, pretty much. As soon as that weight hit bottom. Got it.
Nice.
About dang time.
Well, you're still 2 down on me.
I know. I think I win for size of fish, though.
Yeah, that guy's bigger than mine.
That's one of the larger trout.
That is definitely one of the larger trout. Good sized fish. Roasty.
Yeah. Didn't even have time to set my rod in the rod holder. Got it. As soon as it hit the water. Oh, it's racing toward me. Holy cow. I think this fish just wrapped itself in all of the bobber line. Yep.
Oh, no. Oh, that's going to be a terrible mess to clean up.
This is another good fish. 2 larger trout.
I hate you.
I am suddenly winning. Well, this sucks. As soon as Pat leaves, we start catching fish.
Yeah? Oh, no. Oh, maybe? Oh, no, I got it. Ah, quick release. Get my line back in the water and then deal with fish. Put the tail off.
think I crossed myself. Nope, that's a fish. Yep. Guy lip hooked himself. That doesn't happen very often. Oh. My own double. Oh, this fish came off. No, it's still on. I have the power.
What does that put you at? 4 now?
Yep.
Now we're tied? Oh, that's you. I think it's a smaller hook, because I don't have them size 6. That's your limit.
Yep. Yeah, no, everything I brought is absolutely soaked. Yeah, that took me, what, 10 minutes from first catch to last? Today's fishing adventure is brought to you by Columbia Outerwear. Otherwise, I would not be doing this. That duck is gonna bite your trout.
You already tried biting yours.
Yeah, the duck's eating your trout. Duck!
You kind of think that hurt after a little while.
Christian.
Right where my bobber was, right?
Exactly where your bobber was. Well, you know why fish do that, right?
Keep you fishing.
No, because they don't have middle fingers. Now that, boys and girls, is not what I expected. Yeah, it was a tough bite. I kind of thought it was going to be because of how the weather's been the last couple of days, but once we found the fish, oh my God. I've never caught that many, well no, I can't say that because I have, but not stock trout. So I'll say for stock trout, I've never caught that many stock trout in that span of time in my life as a fisherman. Wild trout fishing, completely different. I can double those numbers in that same amount of time, but for stock trout, it sucks that we didn't start catching fish until right after Patrick left the parking lot. Patrick, I'm sorry, I feel so bad because I wish I would have told you just like wait 5 minutes, something might happen, but in fishing speak, you know, that could go on for years. Yeah, with how much it rained today, we absolutely tested the limit of this raincoat. This is something I've needed for a long time. Simple things, you know? Just tired of getting soaked. So yeah, hopefully you guys will be seeing more Patrick here coming up pretty soon. I'm gonna see if I can arrange to have him meet Christian out at his place for some river trout fishing. Yeah, that's going to be opening up pretty soon, and I'm ready for it. But anyway, let me know what you guys thought down in the comments below. Let me know if you guys have had a fishing trip like that where it's just like 2 hours of nothing to like 15 minutes of you can't keep line in the water, the fishing's so hot. And of course, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button down there and the notify bell next to it. Click all notifications so you guys will be the first to see all the great content that's going to come from this channel. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, tips up, tight lines, and have fun fishing.